Hi everybody, I'm Laura from Linguibus. In today's lesson, we're going to have a look at some of the most common English phrases that people use in everyday conversation, but that learners of English often use wrongly. But no worries, guys. This won't be a big deal anymore, because in this lesson today, we're going to identify some of those common mistakes, understand why those options don't quite work, and we'll provide correct alternatives. So there's no way on earth that you can miss this lesson or any other. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel Linguibus and turn on the bell for notifications. That way, you'll always be updated with our newest videos. Shall we start? Off we go. More often than not, I hear people answering questions with the phrases, I think yes, or I think not. But these are quite common mistakes. Why? Let's start having a look at the positive form first. For example, when someone asks you, is this seat free? Many people answer saying, I think yes. Or, is your friend coming to the party tonight? I think yes. Well, in all these cases, I think yes is not really the best answer to give. We should say, I think so instead. Is this seat free? I think so, because I haven't seen anybody sitting there. Is your friend coming to the party tonight? I think so, because she was very excited about it. Now, resist the temptation of saying, I think not, as a negative form for I think so, because you would be equally wrong. The right phrase to use now would be, I don't think so. For example, has Anna finished work? I don't think so, because she's still at the office. Or, has the bus 105 already left? I don't think so, because I've been here for 30 minutes and I haven't seen it. It's my first day. I hope to do a good job. Good morning, Cool Shops call center service. How may I help you?
Excuse me, can I pay by credit card?
I think so.
Okay, and will I get a discount then?
I don't think so.
I see. Can you deliver my shopping home?
I think so.
On Sundays as well?
I don't think so.
You are not very helpful.
I'm going to be fired. Our second most common wrong phrase has to do with the verbs agree and disagree. In many languages, take Spanish as an example, the verbs agree and disagree are used together with the verb to be. And many people kind of translate literally from their native languages and into English and say something like, I am agree or I am not agree. But unfortunately, we don't use the verb to be with these verbs in English. The right option would be to say, in the positive, I agree. In the negative, I don't agree. I always tell my students, guys, remember, verbs agree and disagree should be used as any other normal verb. Take, for example, the verb go. I go, I don't go. I read, I don't read. I travel, I don't travel. I agree, I don't agree.
I should clean the house, it's quite dirty.
I agree, Laura, you should clean it. It looks disgusting. I don't agree, Laura, come on. You have better things to do, like watching series?
Yeah. Popcorn! Popcorn is good.
I don't agree. Popcorn is actually really unhealthy and fattening.
I agree with you. Pick some popcorn. And some chocolate too. Yeah.
Our next commonly confused phrase has two very important points to consider. The first one is the verb. Very often we hear people saying, it's depend. And again, going back to our previous example, verb to be has nothing to do here. We do not need it, so bye-bye verb to be. The verb is depend. Okay, we just have to use it in accordance with its subject. The phrase we have here is in the present simple, right? And the subject is it. Good, we just need to add a final S to the verb. It depends. For example, is your job enjoyable? It depends. Or are you coming to the picnic tomorrow? It depends. Great. Now, we can just say it depends, or we can add a bit more of information about what may influence that decision. And this is the moment we find our second most common mistake in this phrase, which is the preposition choice. What I've heard the most is people saying, it depends of. But I'm afraid that's not the right preposition to use. Oh, why? Well, because this is a matter of verb plus preposition collocation. I know, it's a pain, but it happens that certain verbs are followed by certain prepositions, and that's the way it is. All we can do is trying to memorize that match by using it a lot, until there's a point it just sounds natural and good to you. The right preposition for depend is on. It depends on. And going back to our previous examples, is your job enjoyable? It depends on the day. Some days it's awesome, but some other days... Or, are you coming to the picnic tomorrow? It depends on how busy I am. If I have finished most of my work, yes I will. Otherwise, Excuse me, may I ask you a question? Is this wine good?
Well, it depends.
On what?
On whether you prefer sweet or dry wine.
Oh, okay, fine. And is this wine expensive?
It depends.
On what?
On how much you're willing to pay.
Right, I'll have some water, thanks. And the last phrase that Len is often using correctly is, it's very delicious. What do you think it is wrong here? Right, now we're talking about adverbs of intensity. We can highlight the intensity of something by using different adverbs of intensity, such as a little, quite, very, really, absolutely, or completely, among others. As you can see, these adverbs of intensity represent different levels. Good. Then what is wrong about this sentence? The problem is that the word delicious is what we call a non-gradable adjective. That means that it cannot have different grades or different levels, because when something is delicious, it is always the top. The gradable adjective for delicious would be tasty. Tasty can perfectly have different levels, and we can say something is quite tasty, very tasty, really tasty, but if something is delicious, it's always up here. More examples of non-gradable and gradable adjectives could be furious, angry, hilarious, funny, fascinating, interesting. So with gradable adjectives, we can use different levels of intensity. And we can use intensity adverbs such as a little, quite, very, or really. For example, after what happened, I was a little angry. That comedy was quite funny. I read this article and I found it really interesting. On the other hand, with non-gradable adjectives, we cannot use different levels of intensity. We can only use top intensity adverbs, such as really, absolutely, or completely. For example, after what happened, I was really furious. The comedy the other day was absolutely hilarious. I read an article that was completely fascinating. As you can see, really is a very cool one because it can be used in both groups, but the rest cannot change group. So coming back to our former phrase, it's very delicious, we can see that very and delicious belong to different groups, so we cannot use them together. Delicious needs top intensity adverbs. For example, really delicious, absolutely delicious, or completely delicious. My dear, my love, you are really fascinating, absolutely gorgeous, and completely amazing. Oh, Jack, you're such a gentleman. Good job, everybody. From now on, just try to remember what we've learned in this lesson today. So anytime you use any of these very common phrases, you make sure you use them properly. Because little by little and with practice, your English will be totally awesome. And because languages are something alive that we need to practice as much as possible, don't miss some excellent tools that I've prepared for you in the description box. Have a look and make the best of them. Don't forget to check our social media for more lessons, resources, games, and much, much more. If you like this lesson and want me to prepare new ones for you, subscribe to our channel Linguaverse and activate the notifications. In the meantime, why don't you have a look at these typically mispronounced words, really useful, or test your grammar with these grammar quiz. Interesting. Thanks for being with me today and practice this. Enjoy it and share it.